come to you on this score and also ask what your thoughts are on the handling of this matter by the special prosecutor. Shamima makes a good point in giving some good counsel to the special prosecutor to ensure that this is done without malice and that Ken Ofori-Atta is taken through the proper procedures.
I'd like to say good morning to our cherished viewers and a special good morning to the Minister of Defense, Minister of Interior, and the IGP, and to urge them to keep their eyes on Boko. It's very important. Yes, we want peace to prevail in Boko, and I would urge that they keep their eyes solidly on Boko. And that, therefore, gives me the opportunity also to say good morning to the Paramount Chief of the Kusag Traditional Area, Naba Asigri Aburago Azoka II. Naba Na. Helen, first and foremost, the first question that comes to my mind is, who actually allowed Ofori-Atta to leave this country? In the first instance, you know, we're told that Oral was doing a lot of work, investigating. So by all means, Oral knew that he was a person of interest. I would have expected that being a person of interest, having presided over our finances and seeing the rundown of our hospitals, we would have allowed him to stay here to have a taste of his own medicine. Ofori-Atta has been gone. He's been put on a wanted list. He's not happy about it. I don't think anyone would be happy about that. But he's been put there for the right reasons. Having presided over a country's finances and brought it to its knees, having been the first person to have actually almost sent us to bankruptcy. At the end of it all, you put us in Finger's CCC -C. Thank God we are back to B-.
That's right.
You have the opportunity to go and relax in a very expensive hospital in the US with all the necessary equipment at your disposal so that you can live. I shudder to ask, all the loans that he took, the 58 million that we sunk into the cathedral, couldn't we have gotten equipment for our hospitals so that he would have been there by now getting that treatment? Do you know how many people in this country suffer from prostate cancer? Because that's what we are told he has, or he had the surgery for.
That's corroborated by the wife as well.
By his wife. People go through prostate cancer treatment in Ghana every day. So what was so special about him that he thought that he could go elsewhere to one of the most expensive hospitals in the world for his treatment, having brought us to our knees financially, where we could not even get dialysis machines for kidney patients, where you look at Kolebu today and ask yourself if this is really a referral unit. Everything there is rusty, where doctors were crying for grants to buy books, to research, and it was a big help. And you look at a situation where today we don't even, Ghana is getting its first PET machine that is for the diagnosis of cancer at the Swedish Ghana Medical Center. In Nigeria, you would get it. Before, you had to go to Nigeria, or you go to South Africa, or you go to India. Thank God, the Ghana National Association of Teachers has been able to purchase one. This is just an organization of teachers. You go to 37, you go to Ridge. I think when the Minister of Health went to the 37 and the Ridge Hospital, that's the Greater Accra Regional Hospital, MRIs were down.
That's right.
How much is an MRI? How much is a mammogram machine? How much is it for you to buy a CT scan machine for every regional hospital in this country? But he's superseded over all the monies that he all the taxes that ordinary Ghanaians paid. And none of our hospitals is well equipped today, but he has the comforts of being out there treating himself. I don't think the OSP is doing anything wrong.
You say he's taken all the right steps.
He's taken all the right steps. He's done it according to the book. This is not witch hunting. This is not persecution. This is going according to the book. He's been very, very magnanimous in his treatment of the former finance minister. He's giving him enough time. And it looks like they want to come at their own time. It's not going to work that way. It isn't going to work that way. Once the OSP has decided that you're a wanted person and you go on the red lists for FBI, that's where you're going to be until you avail yourselves to the laws of this country. So if he wants us to remove that, he can get on the next flight in the next 2 weeks and be here. I think so. As for his wife penning out that letter,
yes.
I understand her.
You understand it?
I understand her. She wakes up with him, goes to bed with him, and probably she understands best how he is feeling, his mental, what shall I say? State right now. So probably she just felt like, I have to say something on behalf of my husband because it seems everybody's bashing him left and right. It's understandable. And I'm not surprised because even when you look at, I wouldn't want to say that she was also in the know when he was getting us to our very low levels in finance. But if I look at what's happening with Edubuahin and his wife, then maybe it is something like the MPP, they like to do it with their wives. So maybe she knows a lot about what has happened.
Rodaline, don't you think that's a bit of a scathing blanket statement?
I'm only saying it's a blanket statement. That's what I'm saying, that somehow I'm beginning to think so. Because she had no reason to come out and say anything. She could have allowed for his lawyers, who have been communicating with us, to come out and say so. But she chose to come out. Now we are asking her. And maybe anytime we don't get any answers, we must go back to, is it Professor or Dr.?
Professor.
Yeah, Professor Angela Ofori-Atta. Because she might be knowing a lot of things that we don't know. And maybe things that we want to know, we can get it from her. But as for getting a special treatment to the extent that you will stay in America and then the process will come to you, I don't think that the special prosecutor should do that. He's a Ghanaian. He holds a Ghanaian passport, unless otherwise. And therefore, we expect that he will be in this country to face our judges, not to be in another place. We are not going to do it a trial in absentia. That's not going to be fair.
Well, that's an option that's on the table.
Well, I don't think that we are going to allow that kind of an option. So what? You jail him in absentia, and what do you gain from that? Are we going to get jail?
You say that sets a bad precedent because now that has become a bone of contention where the wife, the legal team, and Ken Ofori-Atta himself, they say, we'll answer your questions via electronic means. We can have a video conference. The OSP on the other side says it's not up to you to determine the manner in which the process goes. And in between that is the everyday Ghanaian asking that, is this tug of war causing further delay to the process?
It is causing further delay. And sometimes I think that the OSP is not doing enough. I think he should be pushing much further. By now, we should have gotten people, I don't know, maybe they're discussing with the American, with the FBI or the CIA, whatever. But by now, Ofori-Atta, we should have had some form of security right by his door in his hospital. Because, you know, social media is such that you're reading that he's able to be seen in London, he's seen in other places, whether it's true or not, we don't know. But like I said, it's social media.
The OSP alludes to that, actually, that between March and May, there's been some activity.
Exactly. So it means that we are not doing enough. Why should we be able to allow him to go to those places and not be able to come to Ghana? He should be able to come to Ghana to face the music. So I think that the OSP should do more than he's doing now. He seems to be playing footsie with him, and that shouldn't be it. Look, we buried Ajokum Kama not too long ago because of the haircuts and the bonds issue. And Ajekum Kama said about 800 of his mates, his colleagues, old people who were depending on their pensions to survive, to look after their grandchildren, to look after their medical bills. Ajekum Kama couldn't go abroad for medical treatment. Not that he didn't have money. His money had been taken over by an incompetent finance minister who brought us all to our knees. And now he has the privilege of being taken care of somewhere else. And we are still giving him time to decide when he wants to come and face the music for all the ills that he has done to this country. I don't think that is fair. I think that we should go after Ofori-Atta, whichever way, however, and get him back to this country to face the judges. We are not saying he's guilty, but he has to come and take himself out and let us know whether he's guilty or he's innocent. But until then, he should just keep quiet and just be there until we are able to get him out of there.
Rodaline, thank you for your thoughts. Let me read out some of your messages. I'll get the final bites from the ladies on this matter, and then we'll move on to another issue that is also very topical and making the trends. Now, this one is coming from Amma McGold, and she says, it's a good question, Rodaline. Why let him out of the country in the first place? Well, we're told that some, shall I say, permissions were sought. You saw on that timeline, January 22nd, 2025. For medical reasons. We're told the chief of staff was made aware at least of those travels, but many others also say, well, that is immaterial because that's not an investigative body that should have oversight. Okay, Nikwe says, when we were crying family and friends party, well, we were not lying. Numese Nenena says, where was his wife all those months? He was giving over 2 months to appear. Okay. David Panford says we need a media briefing. I suppose you're talking about a media briefing from the OSP. Although, Rodaline, let me throw this out to you. Many have also criticized these press briefings that we have been privy to, or that the OSP has furnished us with. How do we balance the need for confidentiality against the need to keep the everyday Ghanaian informed?
I suppose because it's a subject matter that every Ghanaian wants to know of, it's good occasionally to come out to the public and let us know what is happening. But we don't want to just know little things. Tell us the nitty-gritty, the real stuff. How are you working with the American authorities to get him here? That's what we want to know, not the fact that you have given him this number of days and he hasn't come and you have... No. What have you done? Have you contacted the FBI? Have you been able to get anything concrete? Are they supporting us to get us back? Have you written to the president? Maybe it's the president. Would you talk to the American president that this person brought our country to this and we want this person back? Have you done that? I mean, there are so many things. Have you written to the American Senate? Have you written? There are so many ways he could go around this thing.
Right.
So I think that he's not pushing enough. He should push further.
Certainly. A few